planning part of the job never stops. You're always thinking about what next. I mean, you spent a lot of time in September thinking about the off season. Um, as far as what's next, we have a lot of good young players. We have a lot of talent in our system. There's going to be changes, but I think what makes me most confident, I think there's a really nice spirit in the clubhouse with the coaching staff, with the front office, and I think we won a lot of games this year because of that spirit, because we played hard all the time. And Buddy and I met with all the players this morning individually on the way out, and it's a hungry group. I don't feel like they're proud of what they did, but they also know that we fell short of what we wanted to accomplish, and it's nice to know that hunger will be there during the off-season workouts. They know that they fell a little bit short, and they know what they want to accomplish, and I think that'll serve us very well going forward. We have a mutual option on Garland. We have a lot of guys like Eck, Tejada, that are free agents. Yorvit, we have another mutual option. So all those options are due. The decisions are right after the World Series, so we have the month of October to sit down, maybe have conversations with the agents, and go through that planning. So we have, the negative or positive, depending on how you look at it. The negative of getting knocked out of the playoffs is that you've got a month of planning in October. When you play deep into October, the planning gets a little bit shorter. For most of the year, we were a lot better offensively than I think people believe. We were probably league average for most of the season. Opportunistic offensive team, able to score enough runs to win with a very good pitching staff. Obviously, you can't get shut out 3 times in the last 7 games and expect to go to the playoffs. And really, the last 40 games or so, we struggled offensively. We lost a little bit of our ability to manufacture runs. Some of our speed guys were hurt or ineffective, and we became a little bit more station to station. And frankly, we didn't get a lot of big hits down the stretch. I mean, I think we had 5 different innings yesterday. We had runners in scoring position, and we got no hits. So part was situational hitting. Part, I think, was a sort of lack of ability to steal bases and manufacture runs. And part of it probably was a talent level issue that we have to address. So offense is certainly something we need to focus on, but that's not the only area. There's improvement in pitching, there's improvement in defense, but certainly, the most glaring thing, and understandably as a result of the shutouts, is the offense. It was pretty tough pill to swallow to not make the playoffs, especially when we led the division all year. But yeah, I think when you win 90 games. 90 games gets you in the playoffs most years. It certainly does. I think 05, 06, 07, 08, that 90 would have made the playoffs. So I think at the beginning of the year, you sort of look at 90 wins as a goal. We got there, but obviously 91 or 92 is what we needed to make the playoffs. So that part's frustrating, but I think it was a successful season in a lot of ways. The team played incredibly hard. I think the team was incredibly consistent for 5 months of the season, and unfortunately, the last month, whether it was the anxiety of the pennant race, whether it was tiredness, any combination of those factors, talent, we fell short in September and were inconsistent. And I think we went 14 and 23 down the stretch, and obviously we didn't have to be too much better than that to make the playoffs. So that's the part that we'll kind of look back on and have regret. Those last 37 games, and that part doesn't feel too successful. But all in all, I think these guys have a lot to be proud of, and I know the coaching staff is very proud of what these guys were able to accomplish this year. I was pretty envious being up in San Francisco this weekend, and that place was jam-packed, and it was a great atmosphere. But I look at it more as something to aspire to here, that whether it's a more exciting team, or whether it's just consistency of a winning team. We need to do stuff to make sure the fans want to come out. That's our responsibility. I don't see that as something that is the fans' fault. I see it as, whether like I said, whether it's putting a consistent winning team out there, a more exciting brand of baseball, whatever it might be, we have to figure out a way to do that. And I think it leaves for a lot of improvement. That sitting there yesterday and watching the last outs of that game, and I was thinking to myself, like, that's where we want to be. We want to have a jam-packed house, and we want to feel like, this is the Petco Park is the place to be at the end of the season. So Hopefully we can do that someday. That's obviously our goal, is to pack this place and to make this the destination. And we have some work to do that. And I think that it'll get done here hopefully over the next few years. Well, we don't have a crystal ball. Certainly, I have no idea what the future holds for Matt. He did go past what we wanted. And we were very careful with him as far as pitch counts. I mean, Buddy, I think there's one game all year when he went above 106 pitches. We gave him a lot of rest during the course of the season, and we really made an effort to make sure he was doing his strengthening exercises, making sure he was getting his workouts in. We may do some creative things with him in spring training to take him along a little bit slower. But I think what happened with Matt at the end of the year was not arm fatigue. I think it was just the 6 month grind of the whole season. I don't think what happened to him at the end was about being tired. I think it was a lot of it was about experience, and I think he probably learned a lot. And pitching in that environment yesterday, I'm sure was really good for his career. That was a playoff atmosphere. I thought he pitched very well yesterday. 2 runs in 6 innings. We didn't support him offensively, but he pitched very well, and I think he'll take a lot away from having to pitch those meaningful games in September as he matures. But there's no question that we went probably 15 or 20 innings beyond what we wanted to do because of the pennant race. But like I said, we're confident that he's healthy and he's strong, and we wouldn't take any risks with his career. Yeah, it'll be higher than it was this year. We're still in discussions about exactly what that number is, and the budgeting process is coming to conclusion here. So hopefully within the next few weeks we'll have a more specific number, but no specific number now, other than it'll be a little bit higher than it was this year. We kind of want to build a team around Petco Park. We want to be athletic. We're not going to hit a lot of home runs here, so the ability to manufacture runs during the course of the season is really important. And you've got to be strong. You have to be strong pitching-wise. You have to have a good bullpen, because every game is going to be a 1 or 2 run game. So I think you have to build a team around the knowledge that every game is going to be close, and all the little things about the game that can sway those close games, and bad defense, bad base running, etc. You have to avoid those things because every game's a close game. I'm going to sit down with John Boggs probably the next couple weeks. John and I probably seen each other at the ballpark 3 or 4 times in the last month, and we agreed that the wrong time to put anything in Adrian's head is September. Now that the season's over, we'll take a few weeks and we'll sit down with John and talk about it. You hope there's a middle ground. I think that what Jeff was referring to is, I think if Adrian's looking for a Mark Teixeira, Ryan Howard type deal, that's not going to come from this market. If there's a deal that can be worked out in a different range, obviously he's a great player. He's from San Diego. He's a great teammate. So everything about Adrian is what we want to be on this team. Whether or not we can afford that, something we'll find out when we sit down with his agent.